Well, the lack of affordable housing in Victoria is leading some to consider unique solutions. Take the tiny house, for example. The tiny house trend began about a decade ago and now boasts devoted followers online and even on cable channels like HGTV. But some early adopters are facing challenges here in Victoria. Jason and Caitlin Rupke are about to complete construction on their tiny house. Now that the work is done, they're facing a new challenge: where to put it. They took to Used Victoria last week in an effort to find a corner of someone's backyard to use. They say zoning rules don't make it easy, and Khalil Akhtar paid them a visit in their newly built house.
Well, it's a Victorian-styled tiny house, so it's kind of the classic yellow cream interior with nice, simple borders, kind of resembling the Victorian style. So not totally over the top, but kind of like the copper and old colors that a Victorian house might be, with wood accents.
Yeah, for the architecture on the outside, we actually took a walk around our old neighborhood in Fernwood and just looked at all the houses that we liked most, and there's a lot of really nice kind of older Victorian style architecture there, and we just took notes from all that and then just kind of incorporated all of them into the construction of this house.
So did you draw up the plans yourself, the fundamental plans, or did you buy them, or where did you start?
We decided on things that were valuable to us, and we kind of made choices on the design that would be included in the house. So, what's important to you? Do you want a couch? Do you don't want a couch? Do you want a kitchen? Full kitchen?
Yeah, we did get a few books on tiny house design, and we kind of found all the features, just kind of like we did walking around Fernwood. We found all the features that we liked, and then we did a drawing based on that and just went from there.
And you just started. You got some wood and
we went and bought a trailer from Vancouver, and just got building.
Wow! And so you're basically done. I mean, obviously there's a bit of finishing work and so on to do, but it is remarkably spacious. I mean, there's a full size fridge, a proper shower, a 3-burner stove.
It's got an oven too,
and it's got an oven. I mean,
this is gimbaled.
This is basically normal life, apart from the fact that you're, limited in terms of storage. It's not much smaller than a small condo.
Yeah, we actually think right now with this place we'll have more storage than we do in the place that we have currently, or that we moved out of to build this place. Because that place is just not built very efficiently. It's kind of an older house, and there's a lot of empty, wasted space. But here, all the space is used for storage. So I think we'll actually have more stuff living in a tiny house than we will in our small apartment in Victoria.
Yeah, I mean, you've got kitchen cupboards in the ceiling.
Yeah.
I mean, our fridge is bigger than the one we had in our apartment, so it's a little surprising.
So right now, I mean, you're in the building phase. What are you looking for ultimately? I mean, you put a call out for a spot to ultimately put this in a semi-permanent way. What are you looking for?
Right now we're looking for a temporary spot while Jason's going to school, and then after that we're going somewhere else.
So how challenging is that? I mean, you've got a nice house here, you need a place to put it, you don't own land.
Well, even if we own land, I think there's a minimum structure size to live in permanently, so we couldn't even park it there. So it's very challenging to try to find a place to do it legally, let alone trying to fly under the radar. Like, people are, I think they've heard of some fires happening in unlicensed trailer parks and stuff like that. So people are kind of weary of having some stranger park at the tiny house on a quarter of their property. So yeah, unfortunately the bylaws haven't adapted to this, I say new, but they've been around for like 10 years at least, tiny houses. But bylaws are very slow to change. So it's very difficult to find a spot.
So couldn't it fit into sort of the garden suite allowances that already exist? Or in other words, what's the difference between this and a garden suite in Victoria, which the city is allowing within a set of parameters? Yeah,
the city, I think, thanks to our mayor, it's much easier to apply for that zoning for a garden suite. At the same time, this there's still not classification for what this is. So a lot of times a garden suite will have to be built to residential provincial code, which doesn't
be in the ground or on the ground.
Yeah, it has to be on foundations. You can't sleep in a loft. It has to be over a certain size. The bathroom has to be over a certain size. So all of those things a tiny house won't be able to meet. So it won't work for a garden suite.
Did you know about all these challenges heading into it? I mean, when you were sort of walking the neighborhood in Fernwood, looking for ideas. Did you envision the challenges ahead of you?
I think we did. We just didn't think it would be taking so long to find a spot. And people want to help out, but they're hesitant about the law enforcement, so they just can't because of that.
Law enforcement, I'd imagine their insurance agencies might have something to say about it as well.
I think they would, yeah.
What's your suggestion? So you've done this, you've completed it, you came up with the idea and the design and so on. What's your advice to others who are pursuing a similar avenue?
I guess just do your research and know what you're getting into. We did quite a bit of research, so I think we were prepared for the scene of like what this was going to be like at this stage. But yeah, I think it's tempting to get carried away with all the TV shows and all the hype in the media and everything, and kind of want to just live the dream. But then a lot of people, I think, get hung up. You see a lot of articles. A lot of people get really disappointed when they're unable to. They finish their tiny house and they're unable to find a place to put it. So just know what you're getting into and be ready for that. Other than that, you could just wait until the bylaws change, which may be a while.
I want to take a broader look at your housing situation and the housing situation that friends of yours are facing. I'm assuming you guys are in your 20s. Yeah. What's it like out there? I mean, in terms of renting or even the prospects of one day purchasing a house?
Well, my life, I've grown up renting my entire life. Same with my parents. We aren't the kind of people that can afford housing, probably never in our lives. So to have something like this is just like a dream come true, where I can paint the walls if I want to without asking. Most of our friends, some of them have condos and some of them we're mostly renting. If you live outside of Victoria, then you might have your own house.
So like I'm in school for social work right now. So a social worker's salary is not a lot. And living in Victoria, just doing social work, it's very unlikely that I'll be able to afford any kind of house of anything that I would want to live in. So going into social work, I just had to kind of accept that I'll never be able to afford a property in Victoria, and that's just how it's going to be. So this is our creative solution to the problem of not wanting to pay rent anymore.
Caitlin and Jason Rupke recently finished construction on a tiny house